You have two choices in any given moment in your life. Are you a victim or are you a creator? And will you take action to back up your decision? What will you choose? Hi, and welcome to today's Master Manifestor workshop. My intention today is to change the way that you think about how you set goals and achieve them. If you're like me, you've manifested a whole lot of what you don't want in your life. And until I understood my personal manifestation blueprint, things didn't change for me. I'd like to invite you to download the free companion ebook that goes along with this workshop. There's also a bonus PDF available that includes 10 actionable ways that you can live like a master manifestor right now. And if you stick around until the end, there's also a half-off coupon that you can use to get your own personal manifesting blueprint. Remember those two choices that I talked about just a few seconds ago? There's something important that you need to know about your choices in life. All choices are valid, and you alone have the power to decide what you will choose. There are no wrong answers. Your life is like a giant choose-your-own adventure novel. What is for you will not pass you by, so you don't have to fear making a wrong turn. All of your life's roads lead to the same destination, and the choice is always yours. Why would you want to become a master manifestor? Because it's the difference between unconsciously manifesting and riding life's roller coaster of extreme ups and downs, and consciously manifesting to create more of what you want faster. You can choose to experience yourself through lack, struggle, pain, hardship, and create hell on earth. And most of us have been there at some point in our life. This is what we call the negative polarity. You can also experience yourself through abundance, joy, fulfillment, and ease, and create heaven on earth. This is what we call the positive polarity. The choice is always yours. Your life can be a battlefield or a playground. Both are valid experiences with unique lessons, gifts, challenges, risks, and rewards. And there is absolutely no judgment from Source, God, Creator, the universe, on what type of experiences you choose, because you have free will to create what you want. Now, since most people prefer to avoid pain and suffering, and I'm guessing you're probably in that boat, they desire more positive polarity experiences. And conscious manifesting allows you the opportunity to choose more of these positive experiences. But you will still have some negative polarity experiences occur in your life, because this is how your soul is designed to operate. But conscious manifesting allows us to choose fewer of the second type of negative polarity experiences. Now, the first type that we experience is how we are naturally designed to manifest. It's part of the creation process. Negative polarity experiences in our life allow us to let go of what's not in alignment and destroy the old to make room for the new. Okay, but consciously manifesting allows us to choose fewer of the second type, which is manifesting what you want by delivering what you don't want. It helps you clarify what you want by giving you the things that you don't want as contrast. And those are generally the more painful negative experiences that occur in our life. It's the manifesting a whole lot of nothing. It's being really miserable with the things that you're creating. And you keep wondering, why do I keep doing this? It's like I'm living someone else's life. So those are the type of negative polarity experiences that we can choose to actively avoid when we learn how to become a master manifestor. Now, it's important for you to understand that destruction is always a necessary part of creation. If you fail to embrace the destructive side of your creative energies when they're necessary, you'll begin to experience the dysfunctional aspect of your soul profile that we're going to talk about here in just a minute. Now, the manifestation process is really super simple. It's really just 2 steps. So it's the act of setting a new intention, which includes identifying a new vibrational state, and then taking new actions over time to shift your personal vibration state to be in alignment with what you want to create. And when those vibrations are a match, you attract the new results in your experience. It's really that simple. So if vibrational shifts are how we create anything new, shifting into a new vibrational state creates new results. Now, how you shift vibrationally is determined by your soul profile and your manifesting blueprint, and each person's is unique. Vibrational shifts occur through taking new actions on the physical plane. Now, this means that deciding is not an action. Now, let me give you an example. I may decide that I want to visit my brother in another state, but that doesn't magically manifest me on his front door the moment that I decide that I want to see him. I have to consistently take new actions over time in order to reach that result. And for this example, that might include getting a special type of driver's license that allows me to board a plane, booking a flight, packing, driving to the airport, getting on an airplane, and then renting a rental car and driving to his house. All of these things have to take place as new actions in my daily routine in order for me to manifest something new. So manifestation requires work, physical movement, and time to create changes in your life. There's a number one rule of manifesting that I want to make sure that we talk about, and that is that there is no external authority that governs what you are here to create. There is nothing that governs what you create in this lifetime other than you. So it's important during the intention phase that we take some time to examine where we've given our personal power away and reclaim it. Otherwise, we can't create new results in those areas of our lives. And here's a pro tip. If you want to manifest better, eliminate the word should from your vocabulary because it's contradictory to the number one rule in manifesting. If you're asking or wondering what you should do, that implies that there is an external source outside of you that knows better than you what is best for you to manifest. So just stop shoulding on yourself if you want to manifest better. You get to decide without obligation, without outside pressure, just you. You get to reclaim your personal power. Now, why do we need to reclaim our personal power when we're manifesting? It's because of this natural law that says you cannot change that which you refuse to own. If you have given the power of manifesting in a particular area of your life away to someone or something else, you've also given away the responsibility for those results, or at least you think you have. And therefore, you are powerless to make changes in that area of your life. So one of the very first things that we need to do is to take an honest look at where we're giving away our personal power. So one thing that we need to look at when we're reclaiming personal power is running on autopilot. So running on autopilot is a very odd phenomena that happens to all of us. So sometimes it happens because we just don't want to be bothered with a task, or we think it's boring, or we would rather be doing something else, or we want to think about something else, and we don't really want to actively be making choices. It's just too much work. So we decide to let our body and our ego take over for us, and we run on autopilot. So the next time you notice this, you might be sitting in the parking lot at work and not remember how you got there because you drove there on autopilot. So the problem with running on autopilot is when we do this, it leads to an inability to see what our actions are. We are unable to see our actions as they truly are. We think we are doing things differently, but in reality we're not, because you've given away that power. You've given away the responsibility, and now your perception of what you're doing is now warped. And when we decide to take that personal power back from our body and our ego, we're often met with resistance, and that can feel like irrational fears. But most usually it will come in the form of some sort of thought process that says, I really don't need to do anything differently because the same old what I've always been doing has worked out for me so far, and doing something different might be bad for me. So it will be some variation on that thought process. But the solution is really very simple. All you have to do is take new actions. So if you find yourself sitting in the parking lot at work without remembering how you got there, you can go, hey, I just ran on autopilot. I know how to fix this. And the next day you leave for work 5 minutes early and you take a different route to work. You've taken new action and you've reclaimed that power. Now, if you meet with some resistance and you have some fear or some unsettled feelings about maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I just need to, stick to my normal routine, you can just tell your body and your ego, hey, it's okay. I really appreciate what you've done for me, but I'm going to drive the bus now. I'm going to be in charge, and it's okay because I know what we're doing. And it's as simple as that. So next we're going to talk about the myth of making a mistake in life. So a lot of times people will not want to manifest because they are afraid that they will make a wrong choice. And a lot of times this fear comes from tribal beliefs that we pick up from society and from personal programming that we've chosen to hold on to. So let me explain to you why you cannot make a wrong choice. Okay, so it starts with the process that happens before you incarnate here on earth. So you have chosen a set of experiences that are recorded in your Akashic records. And these experiences show up as your life themes, the archetypes that you've chosen to experience. And these outline different things that you definitely do not want to miss during this lifetime. So to give an example, you may have decided, I definitely want to eat strawberry ice cream because I've never tried that before. And I want to ride a roller coaster, and I'd really like to learn how to pilot a sailboat, and I want to live near the ocean. So those are set immovable objects that are not going to pass you by because you have said, I definitely want to experience these. Now, whether you experience those in a negative polarity or a positive polarity is still totally up to you. You still have free choice, but those events will not pass you by. If they are meant to be in your experience, they will not pass you by. Now, let me explain why you can't make a wrong choice. So this reality that we experience is actually multiple dimensions layered on top of each other, but we only perceive the third dimension because that is what is relevant for us. That is what we have the ability to vibrationally perceive because it's what's vibrationally a match for us. So the same concept applies in making a wrong choice. Anything that is within your vibrational field range is for you. All choices are valid. All choices are possible. If you can perceive it, you can do it. Now, that doesn't mean that you should go out, if I think about murdering my next door neighbor, I should go out and do it because it's in my vibrational field. Well, one, very few people actually have the wherewithal, the guts to actually follow through with such an action. And two, you're also going to reap the consequences of that, which is usually a big enough deterrent for you to not do it. So it's still kind of, guardrails in your experience. If it's not something that you've chosen to create, yes, it can be a side quest if that's what you want to do, but your life will still not go completely off the rails. You will still experience what you came here to experience, but it may just be in a different manner because of the choices that you make. So it's still a good idea to make good choices in life, not just go, willy-nilly and do whatever you think without any consequences. That's not what I'm saying at all. There are still very much consequences for what we choose to do. That comes along with the personal power. We have the personal power, so we have the responsibility that goes with it. But if it's something that really is not right for you, if it's something that is a wrong turn in your path, you won't even perceive it. It's outside of your vibrational field and you won't even know that it's there. So you can stop worrying that you're going to make a mistake and do something that's not right for your life. So one of the things that I hear most often in the work that I do is, what is my purpose? Everyone wants to know what they're here to do, and I'm going to tell you. So you are here to express your divinity through your humanity. Okay? You are here to experience yourself. Now, how each person experiences themselves is unique and it's different. So that's where our manifesting blueprint and our soul profile comes into play, because it tells us more information about how we are here to experience ourselves. But we're here to do that through a variety of experiences. And we do that by uncovering new facets of ourselves. And we do that through creation and through playing in the playground of Earth. So you might be wondering, if that's really true, then why isn't my life all rainbows, unicorns, and happiness? And to be honest, the honest truth is because it's boring. You've already experienced that perfect lifetime before, and it was really short because it was uneventful. No one wants to read a fairy tale where a princess is born into privilege, lives her entire life without facing any adversity, gets everything she wants in life, and then lives happily ever after. It wouldn't even touch the bestseller list. No one wants to read that story. And your soul doesn't want to experience that kind of life either. Good stories have protagonists and antagonists and plot twists and rising drama and lots of action. That's what your soul craves. Your soul craves that drama and those new experiences. So how do you personally manifest new results in your life? You do this using your own personal roadmap, which, like we mentioned before, consists of your manifesting blueprint and your soul's profile. So your soul profile lists in your Akashic records what your personal gifts are, what vital force energy aspects your soul utilizes the most, what aspects of creation you're designed to receive and express, where your natural talents lie, what your soul specializes in, and what your unique approach to life on earth is like. So we couple this with your manifesting blueprint, which is how your soul experiences its divinity while incarnated. Your manifesting blueprint outlines a lot of things, like the process of how you most effectively shift what vibrational state you embody to manifest better and faster, how you experience your divinity most by comparing and contrasting yourself to your inner and outer worlds, how you use choice and consequence to experience your divinity, and how you gauge how you're similar to and different from relationships and experiences to manifest what you want. It also includes information about how you shift from one vibrational state to the other and where your inspiration for change comes from. It also tells us how you embrace new vibrational states that lead to new results. And from this information, we can also determine what questions that you need to ask yourself when setting new intentions. So let me give you an example. So one of the qualities that we look at when I read your manifesting blueprint is if you manifest for the sake of experiencing yourself through the process of manifesting something new in your life. So for a process kind of a person, it's all about the journey. And honestly, for process people, the outcome really doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, if you're a process person, you probably have a lot of unfinished projects laying around because you enjoy the process of it. And if you don't know that you're a process person and you don't know the pitfalls of being a process person, and you don't know, then it's super important for you to line up your next goal before you complete your first goal that you're working on, so that you're actually motivated to complete that process through to the outcome. Then you're probably going to keep piling up new projects that you've just never finished. So this is just an example of how you can use your manifesting blueprint in real life, everyday situations. So the information that you can get from your manifesting blueprint is very practical. It outlines how you can apply your manifesting process to your life in order to achieve the goals that you want. So this information, your soul profile, is contained within your Akashic records, and your manifesting blueprint is held at the 7th dimensional aspect of your divine soul blueprint. And this information can be accessed by anyone. You can access your own soul profile and your own manifesting blueprint anytime you want. But if you don't want to go through the process of learning how to do that, because it was a very extensive process for me, it took me 3 years of active study and doing this full time. And I invested probably close to $10,000 in my education to learn how to do this. So if you don't want to make that investment and you don't want to do it, then you can invite me in for an active co-creation, and I can access that on your behalf. And you do that by booking a manifesting blueprint session with me. So when you do a manifesting blueprint session, it's not just me reading the information that you have. It's also me comparing what your pristine manifesting blueprint looks like in comparison to how you're manifesting now. And then I can take that information and tell you exactly what you need to change and how you need to change it in order to manifest better. And that allows us to manifest more positive polarity experiences without getting bogged down and being stuck with unexpressed creative energy because we feel stuck and because we're afraid of making a wrong choice. And that leads us to the next thing that we're going to talk about, which is vital force energy. So vital force energy is what powers your creative energy. This is your manifestation energy. Now, most people access vital force energy from source or a creator, and also from other people that you interact with every day in your life. Now, this is just how your energy body is designed to work. We are designed to exchange energy with each other throughout our day. This does not mean that you're sucking energy from another person or that you're an energy vampire. This is how your energy body naturally operates. But the majority of your vital force energy, for most people, is going to come directly from source, and you have access to an unlimited supply of that. But if you're wondering why we don't all feel like we have the experience of having unlimited access to unlimited vital force energy and manifestation, it's because in order to access your vital force energy fully, you would have to be experiencing your divinity in your humanity fully. And most of us honestly aren't doing that. It's like kinking a hose. We have a few kinks in our hose, and the vital force energy isn't flowing as well as it was designed to flow. And so we have some limitations in our access. But that doesn't mean that we can't unkink the hose when we uncover a kink, and it doesn't mean that we can't still manifest really good things in our life. So when you're out of alignment with your own personal divinity, and that's contained in your soul profile, you have limited access to that vital force energy, just like a kinked hose, like we said. And that results in being stuck. And I hear this a lot. I'm stuck, I'm blocked, I don't know what to do, I can't seem to move forward. And when we are kinking our vital force energy hose and blocking our flow of creative power, and we stop manifesting things, we stop making new choices, we stop creating new realities, that always leads to energy stagnation. And that results in serious illness. Okay. It's a natural side effect of stagnant energy in our bodies. It's designed to flow, and when it doesn't do as it's properly designed to, we have issues. And that can manifest as serious illnesses. It can even manifest as like chronic injuries, like just being really accident prone for a period of time. Most often people will feel just really low on energy, run down, exhausted, like they're always burning the candle at both ends, just can't ever seem to get enough rest. This is you being low on vital force energy. It can also really commonly manifest in your body as chronic pain, chronic illnesses, unexplained illnesses, depression, and even cancer. So let's talk about what manifesting is not for. It is not for spiritual bypassing, okay? Manifesting is not for skipping out on the work of doing something. If I decide that I want the dishes done that are dirty in my sink and I want them clean, the only way they're going to get clean, most likely, is if I go in there and I actually wash them. I actually do them. Now, I do have the option of, hiring someone to do it or convincing someone else to do them for me, but it still requires action on my part. Okay. And spiritual bypassing in the form of just thinking that you can manifest personality traits like discipline or willpower. Yeah, that's not going to work. That's just going to require you putting in the work that it takes to develop discipline and willpower. Now, the other thing that manifesting is not used for is for creating emotional states of being, like happiness. You can't just manifest happiness. Now, let me explain why, because I know I hear some of you, but manifesting happiness is on my vision board. It's what I want. We all want happiness. I get it. But for the large part, emotional states are choices. Okay. We all know somebody who lives in poverty and chooses to be happy. It seems a little bit contradictory, but it's still a choice. You can choose your emotional state independently of your physical circumstances. Okay? So if you want to manifest happiness, you don't want to word your manifestation goal as I want to manifest happiness. You want to manifest physical things that are in alignment that make it easier for you to choose happiness in that moment. Now, for me personally, that may be a visit to the beach because that's my happy place. So for you, it may be something different, and you can manifest those physical realities and those physical things that make it easier for you to choose happiness. So in a way, yeah, you kind of can choose, manifest the things that make it easier to be happy, but just to set your goal as manifesting happiness, that's not going to work. So you also cannot manifest something that is outrageously beyond your current vibrational state, because manifestation must be done in increments or stages. We must continually change that vibrational state until it's a match for what we want. Now, let me give you an example of when that process goes awry. So we've all heard a story of someone that wins the lottery, and overnight they go from being in lack to having whatever they want at their fingertips. And in general, those people, if you check back in with them in 6 months or a year, they have probably lost all of their money. And they're probably right back where they started from. And the reason for that is because they were unable to maintain the vibrational state of being rich. It was too far out of their comfort zone. It was too much of a dissonance for them because they didn't do the work to go through the process step by step. And, this is a very common thing because it's kind of designed this way to keep your physical reality intact, because this is how things work here on Earth. So next we're going to talk about why you don't manifest what you want. And this is most often because of limiting beliefs. So remember that number one rule in manifesting? Yeah, we're going to talk about it again. The only thing that can prevent you from manifesting your next goal is, can you guess? Do you know? It's you. And this most often occurs because you're holding on to limiting beliefs. So these can be tribal beliefs picked up from society, generational beliefs picked up through your family, personal limiting and negative beliefs, and these all must be cleared during the intention phase. Okay? Now, the clearing process is really simple, and most often it just takes you sitting down with yourself, taking the time, and willing to be honest with yourself, and just examining what stands between you and where you want to be. What thought processes are you holding on to? Now, in your manifesting blueprint, when you book a session, you also get a list of questions that help you determine where your limiting beliefs might lie, and also helps you set better intentions that are specifically designed to coincide and to be in alignment with the way that you manifest. Okay. But if you're doing this on your own, you can just sit down with pen and paper and ask your angels, ask your guides, ask source, whatever your personal practice is, ask for some guidance. in examining and being honest with yourself about what limiting beliefs you're holding on to that would prevent you from manifesting the goal that you've set for yourself. And then just write out whatever comes to mind. And chances are those things are going to be pretty close to the surface, and your ego is just going to push those out for you to look at. And once you get them on paper, you can look at them and decide, hey, do I really want to believe this? Is it serving me to continue to hold on to this belief? And then you can choose to either continue to hold it or let it go. So it's also important to know that desire powers your dreams. You have to truly want what you're setting your goal to manifest. So many people get disappointed and think that manifestation doesn't work for them because they set a goal for something that their husband thinks that they should be manifesting, or a goal that they think they should be manifesting, but it's not really something that they want. And then when it doesn't manifest into their life, they just, well, this stuff doesn't work and it's not really for me and I really need to give up and I'll just go back to doing things the way I've always done them. And it just leads to a whole big ball of victimization. So you have to truly want what you are setting your goal to manifest. Okay, so here's a manifestation secret that very few people know about. When you feel confused or experience a lack of clarity, that's really your way of resisting what you're currently manifesting in your life. And most often it's because you've set your intentions using some variation of the question, what do I really want? Now, it's very important to choose your words that you use in your manifestation goals, in your intentions, very carefully, because the meaning behind those words and the meaning that you personally associate with those words, even far beyond the societal dictionary that we all carry in our heads of what those words mean, are very, very important because they determine the vibration of the outcome that you're trying to manifest. So when we say, what do I really want? The connotation behind the word really implies a final goal, which is like a big boss battle level of your game of life. And that's just way too much pressure for us to determine. We don't know what we ultimately want in life. So you're probably going to spit out some answer about what I really want in this moment, and you're going to get some answer, or you're going to get some analysis paralysis and not be able to come up with a goal. Either way, you're going to get some wonky manifestation process. But what's better to do is to ask yourself, what do I want right now? And the reason that works better is because right now is always relevant. Okay, what do I want right now? Okay, that's something that your mind can say, okay, I can get on board with that. Right now, I want a banana popsicle. Okay, it can really be as simple as that. What do you want right now? Okay, so that is a better question to ask yourself when setting your intentions than what do I really want? So it's also important for you to understand that you also have a tendency, we all do, to have a lack of clarity or confusion sometimes as our way of avoiding something that we don't want to face or that we don't want to look at about ourselves or about a situation. And the way that you can fail-safe check yourself if you're doing that is when you're looking at your limiting beliefs, is to take some time to stop and ask yourself, what am I pretending not to know right now? And you may be really surprised at the answers you get when you ask that question. So one of the other important aspects of manifesting is to understand that your faith provides the foundation for everything that you manifest. You cannot manifest something that you don't believe you can have. You cannot manifest something that you think you don't deserve or something that you don't think you can accomplish. Remember, you are the only thing standing in your way. Now, one of the biggest things that we have to overcome when we're becoming master manifestors is fear. And honestly, just a basic fear of being responsible for manifesting your own life is really common. It's why most people continue along in life manifesting both positive and negative polarities, and they just keep riding that roller coaster of life, because for them, the fear of the unknown is way bigger than the fear of the known. So they decide just to keep putting up with a certain level of discomfort and misery in their life, because for them, the possibility that they could create something that's even more uncomfortable is just too much. They're not willing to risk that. So fear can be yours, but it can also be inherited through your DNA from your parents and your ancestors. This can be fears, and it can also be limiting beliefs. And we inherit these through our DNA when we're born. Now, just because they belonged to your ancestors or your parents, it's still your responsibility to clear it now, to address it now, because if you don't, you will continue to pass that down to other generations. So the clearing work that you do when you look at your ancestral limiting beliefs and your ancestral fears, is really very sacred work, because it is clearing those blocks for past, present, and future generations. So if you get the opportunity to be presented, if you're guided in this area to do this work, it's really sacred work. And it's a very rewarding process to go through and clear things that belong to your ancestors. And for a lot of us, those ancestral type of limiting beliefs will have a type of a disconnect. I mean, they still feel like they're ours, but in a way we can still kind of tell that we've just been carrying them for our ancestors for a really long time. So we're going to talk about common fears next. And these are common fears that interfere with your ability to manifest what you want. Now, this by no means is an all-inclusive list. This is just a few of the most common ones that I've encountered in my work. And these can be fears of embodying the full potential of your manifestation capabilities. Honestly, for a lot of us, we just don't want the responsibility. We don't want to be responsible. It can also be a fear of change. That's a big one for a lot of people. The sooner that you embrace that change is normal, and the only thing that doesn't change in life is that things will change, the sooner you can get more comfortable with living in that dissonant state of change, because growth always requires some sort of discomfort, okay? It's just part of life. It's how things work. A lot of people will have a type of fear where they think that if they manifest something, that it somehow is taking it away from someone else. And when we look at that type of fear, it isn't real rational. And that's kind of part of the process of letting it go, because after, we uncover it, the client will always be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, yeah, I know. A lot of these don't make sense when they're brought to the light of day. But we continue to hold on to them because they're just running on autopilot in our programming. So it's important to take that time and journal and find these to uncover them. A lot of times I'll run into a fear of not deserving what you want to manifest in life. And that's a very complex situation. And, it usually has to do with your solar plexus and your self-worth and self-love and those type of things. And that's work that we can work through to change and heal, if you're battling with that. But that's also a very common one. We run into that a lot. People have a very big fear of pain and discomfort. That's a very, very common situation. They're afraid of struggling. They're afraid of confrontation a lot of time, especially for women. Our society often tells us that women should not be confrontational. So we think that if we have to reclaim our power from our spouse that we've given away, that there's going to be a big confrontation, and there probably will be. But so we choose not to take action because we want to avoid that confrontation. There can also be a fear of people not liking you. There's also a lot of times we'll find this one where people somehow think that manifesting good things in your life, that by having all of your needs met, by being financially independent, that by having excess money in the bank, that is somehow bad or immoral. Within your religious circles, most likely, is usually where that stems from. But that's a very common fear that we have to address. Sometimes you can be afraid that it's just going to be too hard. You're not going to be able to do it. You don't have what it takes. It's just better to stay the way you are. And these are a lot of fears that we can address. Now, if you have an issue being honest with yourself about your fears, or you really are not sure how to go about this process, you can book an abundance blocker session with us. Now, what that does is that goes through some of the most common fears that we encounter, which is a very long and laundry list, much longer than the one that I just gave you, of common fears that we encounter during manifestation. And I will walk you through the process of how to clear those. I will clear them from your energy body for you specifically, and then give you a type of exercise that you can do to cement that into your reality a little more fully. And then you'll be aware of them, so that the next time, if they start to repopulate because you haven't taken care of the problem at the root level, you can notice them right away and chuck them out because they're not serving you. So that's an abundance blocker section. And if you really want to get very deep into the manifestation process, you can get the book on Amazon titled Practical Manifesting for Complete Financial Abundance. It's only $3 on Amazon, and it has very detailed manifesting techniques and shows you step by step how to go through the process. You can also sign up for our Complete Financial Abundance Workshop, which is an amazing workshop that specifically targets manifesting financial abundance. So remember how I told you I was going to give you that 50% off code? So that code is MASTER MANIFESTOR, and you can use that when you're booking not only a manifesting blueprint session, but any of the other sessions that I've just mentioned. So that will get you half off the abundance blocker session, the manifesting blueprint session, and the Complete Financial Abundance Workshop. You can choose from any of those and get half off. So we're going to talk about the mechanics of manifesting next, and these are deceptively simple. So this process is really simple. This is a little bit of a recap for you. We start with deciding what we want, and then we clear the limitations. Okay, so that may take you a little bit of time if you go through the process correctly. And then the next thing that we do is we take new actions over time so that we become a vibrational match for the new goal that we want. Okay, this will require some dissonance, some discomfort, some work, because all change does. Now, if you're wondering what your future holds, remember how we talked about shifting vibrational frequencies occurs in increments? In general, that means that your vibrational state can be a little bit higher or a little bit lower each and every day. And you get to choose which direction you're shifting. But if you don't create anything new through new actions today, you can predict very reliably what you will manifest tomorrow, and that will be more of the same. It will be what you manifested today, and probably will the same thing that you manifested yesterday. The only way to create new results is through new actions to shift your vibrational state. There's really no other way. Your daily habits determine the course of your life. Let me say that again. Your daily habits determine the course of your life. What you decide to do in this moment determines where you will end up. It determines your destination. It determines what you manifest. Nothing new ever happens unless you take new action. And nothing new ever happens inside your comfort zone. So you get to decide, what are you going to do with this very valuable information that I've given you today? Are you going to take it and file it away as just another piece of information, useless information, because you're never going to put it into action and it's just going to collect dust in the back of your mind? It would really encourage you and hope that you wouldn't do that. Are you going to make the choice to put this information into action? That's what my intention is for you. That's what I'm hoping that you will do, is that you will use this information to change your life. And if you would like to invite me in to co-create this experience with you, I would be more than happy to help you out. And you can just book a session with me at akashicdivination.com. But please, whatever you do, whether it's an act of co-creation with me or whether you take this information and you run on your own and you just go out there and create your best life, please, please, please put this information to work in your life. Thanks for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to spend this time with you.